so pleased to have in the studio with us my friend and colleague, talk show host Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, on Sirius XM 126 on Sirius Urban View, is it called?
Yeah, Urban View.
Urban View.
Mm-hmm, you got
it. And joemadison.net, your website, and you can tweet him at Madison Sirius XM.
Yeah, or .com, I guess.
Okay.
We don't.
joemadison.com. It's all the same.
It all goes the same, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what the kids tell me.
Yeah, there you go. Same here. Same here. So a lot in the news, Joe, and I'm we've talked about a couple of things so far. One is whether Trump's attacking Bill Clinton is going to backfire on him.
People who live in glass houses, the old adage, should not be throwing stones.
Yeah.
Look, Bill Clinton's personal situation has been vetted by everybody in the world that was conscious. I mean, so first of all, what's new? See, that's the interesting thing. What's new? Nothing. I mean, unless he comes up with some new shocker or something like that, it's going to be like, okay, tell me something new. The other thing is, I mean, in my neighborhood, we used to say it's the pot calling the kettle black. Mm. I mean, be careful. I mean, with that. The third and final thing is, what does that have to do with all the things that Bernie Sanders has been talking about, that the Democrats have been debating about inequity and pay and trying to get this economy rolling faster than it has been. It has nothing to do with any of that.
Which is one of the reasons why the media loves it.
Well, that's exactly right. I think yesterday when I was with you on RT, we were talking in the makeup room, and I told you when I first started in this business, and this is a word that most people in the audience probably have not heard. And I think I kind of surprised
it's
you. It's
legal to say it on the air, right?
Yeah, it's legal, unless you're in Sirius XM. Everything's go there. But it was a word called infotainment.
Right.
Infotainment. It's a strange sounding word. And I remember first hearing it from a program director Thom had come back from a conference that these consultants, you remember years ago, we had all these consultants would come in.
They still sort of do it, with the Talkers Convention every year.
Okay.
Michael has some of those folks.
All right. And they would tell us, and they had this thing called infotainment. Mm-hmm. And I remember in the meeting, production going, what is infotainment? And it's the new thing. It's the new thing. It's where it's going to be information, but it has to be given in an entertaining way.
Right.
And I didn't quite understand it. Now I do, because we see it every day.
Right.
And so, it's the reality shows. You look at news. And and look, at one point I was married to a journalist, and I have tremendous respect, or I should say I used to have tremendous respect for journalists. But the Ted Koppels of the world, the Bernard Shaws of the world, the Walter Cronkites of the world are gone. Yeah. And now it's what gets rating. Now it's profit motive news. And that's what we're seeing. And as Ted Koppel said in a piece I read, it doesn't do democracy any good when you, in other words, what they're doing is giving people what they want instead of giving people what they need. Yeah. And that does not do democracy justice. And I'm stealing it from what Ted Koppel said in an interview.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And I see three milestones for that. In 87, when Reagan stopped enforcing the Fairness Doctrine and saying that in order to maintain your license, you no longer have to prove that you're performing public service. In 96, actually, you started in 83 when Reagan stopped enforcing the Sherman Act. And then the Fairness Doctrine, and then in 96 when Clinton signed the Telecommunications Act.
You got it.
Those three things just totally ruined the media in this country.
And for people who weren't around or very young back in those days, and don't realize it, when we first started in this business, you know how it was. If you interviewed someone with a different ideology, you had to interview and give them as much equal time as possible, the other side. This is when, remember, we used to have the debates with Alan Simpson and and Kennedy, I think it was, Bill Press and I forgot the other conservative, not the other, but the conservative, and they would go point, counterpoint, and you could sit there and determine, you heard both sides of the argument. Those days are over, and now it's that infotainment. It is now, the emphasis now is on entertaining. That's why Donald Trump is getting over. He's entertaining. Yeah. He's entertaining, and he's doing it to the worst aspects, because I read a piece the other day that, people are afraid. I mean, they're afraid. They I listened to Bernie, and I listened to the debate, and they're just barely staying above water. Sure. When in Washington D.C., I go back to my with my granddaughter today. I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, so I'm babysitting. Cool. The kids are taking advantage of free babysitting time, but they spend a fortune on child care. I read the other day where child care costs as much in some states as tuition at some state universities. Yeah, I read that. That's amazing. Yeah, it is. It's an amazing time. And it's something that in the Scandinavian countries is free. I mean, it's covered by your taxes. Because people count. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they put people first, right? The whole point of government is putting people first. And so when we go back to your original question, is Donald Trump going after Bill Clinton's extramarital affairs? Does that help my son-in-law and my daughter with child care? No. Does that help with the need for mass transit? No. It doesn't have anything to do with what helps us as a better country. But it makes more money for the networks. Thank you. There you go.
To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.